this is Janet Diane Moria Swerdlow. Welcome again into my kitchen. I am going to show you today another lovely vegetable that I like to eat this time of year. Most of you are familiar with asparagus. Now, asparagus can be a little bit of an intimidating vegetable for some people to cook. I know when I was growing up as a child, we had these in a can, and they were really disgusting to eat. Some of you might not have ever had that disgusting experience, but I know I've read through the years how to cook asparagus, how to do this with that, because there's really two different parts. So you have the stalk and you have the tip. So there's a lot of different ways and rules about cooking asparagus. I want to show you how to do it very simply. Now, most people don't realize that asparagus is a diuretic. It will help you with swelling and edema, relieve that for you. The National Cancer Institute has also said that it's an anti-carcinogenic, and also it has rutin in it, which helps blood vessels. So your blood vessels are strong and small blood vessels won't pop. Now, there's lots of different widths of asparagus. These are the thick stalks and these are the thin. And I was always told that the thin stalks, growing up anyway, were better because these were always tough and woody. But if you have nice fresh asparagus, I actually prefer the thicker asparagus. I think it's juicier and it is very tender and it's wonderful. So I want to show you how I prepare it, and hopefully you will be able to do this in your own home just as well or better. The bottom part is your woody stem. This is where it's connected to the ground. Of course, it grows upright like this. So it comes this way to keep it fresh. I usually slice mine off at an angle because I like the way that looks when I cook it. So I take off the woody part, and this is what I use. This goes into the trash. So to start with, I'm going to show you, we're going to put some of this over here. So I've already put some on for you. This baking sheet covered with foil, because I don't want to have to cook my baking sheet. I just want to be able to throw my foil away when I'm done. I don't have to wash it. A little bit of chopped onion. I have a little bit of chopped garlic. Put this on it. Spread it out, and then I pour a little bit of olive oil on it. Just drizzle it across. You want to make sure that your asparagus is nice and dry, because you want to remember too what I always tell you. I've always ready washed this in my food grade hydrogen peroxide water bath, which I keep by my sink to put my vegetables in. So my asparagus is nice and dry. I kind of roll everything together in the olive oil, and from there I just pop it in the oven, very easy, at about 450 to 475 for about 10 minutes, maybe 15. That's it. You don't want it to be soft and soggy. You want it still to be a little crunchy and delicious when you take it out. So it'll be crispy but delicious. So 475 for just a few minutes. The other thing that you can do is you can steam it. And I take a large pot like this. I put in about an inch of water, so much. Turn my inch of water on high on my stove. And into that I put my steamer basket with whatever much asparagus I want to steam. Put this on, and like maybe 5 minutes, 7 minutes, just enough so that it changes into a beautiful green color. So I'm going to let this steam for a minute while I show you a few other ways you can prepare asparagus. This is my Cuisinart, which you're all familiar with by now. And I'm going to show you how to do a really nice fresh asparagus salad. I've already talked to you about Jerusalem artichokes, which are a nice addition, and I'm using my grating blade. I'm going to throw this in here, and before I go further, this is a kohlrabi. Part of a kohlrabi is going to go in here as well. This is what kohlrabi looks like. We got some of these from Cindy, which we talked about, and I want to show you how to trim this and clean this as well, as long as I'm going to put this in my salad. This is a Middle Eastern vegetable, and oftentimes they use it like we would use a potato. It's very low carb, has a tough greenish outer skin, sometimes going toward purple. This also is good for swelling, and it will help diabetic conditions, stabilize blood sugar. It's a great all-around tonic for your body. So it's very easy to peel. It's soft, but this outer skin is tough, so we don't eat that. And you can just chop it in half. It's nice and crispy. Fix it any way you would a potato. You can steam it, bake it, broil it, put it in soup. I'm going to use it fresh in my salad. It's nice and crunchy. So we're just going to quickly, I'm going to plug in my Cuisinart and show you how to make a really lovely summer salad. In go my asparagus. Just put it in here, mix it all together with a little salt and pepper. Now you want to remember that salt does pull out your juices, just like we did when we did the fermented vegetables. The salt pulls out your juices, so a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of lemon juice, and you have a really lovely salad. Just eat that fresh as a condiment to any meal. Or if you want to, you can pack it and ferment it as well. But it's really nice, and it's very, very easy. As you can see, you can keep it in your refrigerator. It will keep for quite a long time, perhaps up to a week. So you can make a nice batch and eat on it if you come home late from work or you're in a hurry during the day. It's a really lovely salad. You can always stir fry that as well if you like, for a little bit of change if you get tired of eating it raw. But it's really wonderful for you. And the next thing I'm going to show you is how to stir fry, and so I put together a few veggies here for you, which I think you'll find interesting. I have some onion already chopped. I have some pepper, which is nice for color. This is organic orange pepper. You can get it, of course, yellow, green, and red. A little chopped up garlic. I've already chopped up my asparagus for you. And I have some broccoli. This is a shiitake mushroom that we got from Cindy when we were out there. You saw it growing on the logs, so I wanted to be sure and show you that. I'm going to slice that in a minute. And what I have done for my stir fry is I have taken the stalks and cut them on the bias, which is also very easy to do. So let me show you how to do that. It's a nice presentation, and I like the way it cooks that way. So remember, I cut the root off first, and I just take my knife and I just cut it slowly on the bias. It makes a nice presentation in your dish. And I leave the tip of it because it's also very nice and a little bit more tender than the stalks. So again, you just take and slice on the diagonal. I do this with bok choy as well. And I cook them separately. So I'm going to add the bias stalk here. The tips are going to go in this part. I just come over to my stove and turn it on probably a medium high to start with until my oil gets warm. And the way you can test that is I start with my onion and my garlic, because that takes the longest to cook. Notice I've cut it into chunks. The way that you cut your vegetables also increases the way that your dish looks. You want to think about presentation. How do people feel when they sit down to eat your food? Does it make them feel good? Do they want to eat it? Does it want to have a pleasurable feeling? This is what you're ingesting, your life experiences. And while that's getting hot, I'm just going to quickly slice up my shiitake mushroom. And that's going to give it a little different color and texture and flavor. And again, you can use whatever you want. My recipes are not real exact because I don't want to make this work for you. I want you to do easy things with what you have. I'll set it here for when this is ready. This will take it just a minute and heat up. In the meantime, let's check in on my asparagus. You see how quickly it's already changing color. Remember what it looked like in the beginning. You see the difference in color on the stalk? It's going to more of a bright green. It's bubbling and boiling underneath. Really, the steam does the work. So I'm going to put the lid back on, turn my heat down, and just let it sit there on low and steam for another couple of minutes, and it'll be tasty and tender and easy to eat. Okay, now this is really, it's done. So I'm going to take this and just show you the knife easily goes into a spear. Okay, goes in real easily. So, and here again is the way the original color is. I don't know if you can see it as much on film, but it's changed to a really bright green. You can serve it with a little butter, olive oil, garlic, anything that you like. I had a friend tell me that she likes it with bacon grease, and or bacon fat. Maybe that's a better way to put it. It's good for you as well. And in the meantime, our garlic and our onions are doing well. We want to keep them crispy, so it's nice and crispy. It's not soft and loosened. So we're going to take the stalk part and just add that in and stir fry that around, just again until it changes a little bit of color. You see even right now it's beautiful. It's really a nice presentation. It's not even out of the pan yet. So those are the asparagus stalks. And the other thing that takes a little bit of time is the broccoli that I've chopped, and organic, that we got from our farmer friend Cindy, which you all know by now. It's a little bit longer to cook, so I'm going to add some of that in. And I'm going to throw in a little bit more oil. Make sure everything's cauliflower is nice to throw in a medley like this. You can either put in florets or you can slice them thin. It gives it a nice crunch. You see the broccoli starting to change now, a little bit darker color, brighter green. You want your vegetables crunchy. You don't want to cook all the nutrients, but by cooking it, it does start to break it down a little bit and make it a little bit easier to digest in your system. That's changing. I am going to next add in the peppers. That takes a little bit less time to cook. And you can see how that adds a little bit of color. It brightens it up. The red peppers are nice. And again, I just want to make sure everything's changing a little bit of color. Sprouts are good. Throw that in the medley. Now I'm going to put my mushrooms in. And add a little bit more oil. You can see it doesn't look like a lot on the plate, but when you start adding it up, you have a really nice vegetable dish. You don't have to cook it all at once. You can put things in a baggie, put it in your refrigerator, and you can cook for 2 or 3 meals if you're just one person or if you're a small family. And if you have children, children like these kinds of vegetables because they're crunchy. They're not cooked and soggy and disgusting. And last but not least are the tips of the asparagus. They will cook the fastest, and they also add a really nice dimension to your vegetable dish. Just stir everything around so that everything is covered with oil, has a chance to hit the bottom of the pan. You can salt and pepper it if you like. The other thing you can do, I'm going to show you how to make a really wonderful sauce to go on this. I'm going to let it sit because it's going to continue to cook for a few minutes, mixed in with all the other veggies. You can serve it over rice if you like, if you're a rice eater. Add a little bit of chicken or beef, and you have a whole meal. Wonderful. Okay, so you can see, look at how the broccoli is changing. Very nice. And the spears these will start to change in a few minutes as well, but they'll sit here with the others and get a little bit more done. I'm going to remove this from the stove. I'm going to put up this top over it, and that will help it continue to cook while I show you how to make a really wonderful and easy sauce to go over it. This is based with coconut milk. I take 1 can of coconut milk Any brand is fine. Just prefer organic, of course, if you can get that. Put that in your pot. Stir that around and mix it up. And I'm going to turn my stove on probably just right at medium for now. Medium high until it gets warm, and then I'm going to turn it down to medium and go to low. So all the coconut milk gets stirred up. Now, has some interesting flavors here. This is sun butter, organic sun butter. You can get this at your local health food store, or you can go to sunbutter.com and you can order it from them. That's how I get mine. I usually buy 6 to 12 jars at a time. It only has 5 carbs for 2 tablespoons, so this is very low carb. Your whole can of coconut milk only has about 45 carbs in it. So it's, or I'm sorry, 15 carbs. I just made something with 3 cans of coconut milk. It had 45, but for 1 can of coconut milk, about 15 carbs. We're going to add somewhere 2 to 3 tablespoons of our sun butter in. You may have had peanut sauces before. This is a sun butter sauce, which is very similar. It's wonderful on chicken, vegetables, rice, beef. If you barbecue, you might want to marinate your barbecued meat that you're going to barbecue in it. Just mix that in. Really nice flavor. If you like the flavor of lime, which I do, I am going to add also maybe about a tablespoon of, this is organic lime juice. The brand I like is Lakewood. It's pure lime, 100% organic. You get that again at your health food store. I happen to buy mine by the case because I like to know that I have it when I need it. Stir that in. Okay, I also like to sweeten it. We've talked before about the raw coconut crystals, low glycemic sugar index, has 7 carbs per tablespoon. And I put in, you can do it whatever sweetness you like. Kind of helps mellow out the flavor. I'm going to put in about 3 tablespoons. You can do more or less. Stir that in. So now I'm going to turn my heat down a little bit. And again, I just kind of go by taste. You know, what do I like and when. Some people add soy sauce. I'm going to add some raw coconut amino acids. It says it's a soy-free seasoning sauce, which is very similar taste to soy. And probably a couple tablespoons of that in there. Stir that around. This is going to be an interesting flavor for you. A little hot sauce to make it spicy. So I happen to have habanero sauce, but whatever you have to the degree of spiciness, just 2 or 3 drops. Kind of gives it a little bit of a kick. Some red pepper flakes. These I get from Cindy. Nice organic ones. I like mine hot and spicy. A little salt and pepper. Organic black pepper. Sea salt from the south of France. And that's it. It's really pretty easy. You can make it as thick or as thin as you want. The sun butter will make a difference. Once it sits and cools down a little bit, it will thicken a little bit, but it's very easy to do, and it's a delicious sauce for your vegetables. You can come over here now and see how everything has changed colors. This is really lovely. It's hot, but you can put this again over rice with chicken, put your sauce on top, and you have a wonderful, wonderful meal. So, very easy how to cook for yourself, very easily, very simply, very nutritious, good for the body, good for the mind, good for the soul. So thank you again for joining me. I look forward to sharing more with you as time rolls along.
That's delicious. Really good.